What's going on, everyone? Juice Bags here, and welcome back to some Dungeon Defenders 2. We are here on the Chaos 10 Gates of Dragonfall, going back to the OG to check out the Ramsters. Oh yeah, this one's been requested by several people over the last month, and walls plus anything else, y'all. So Ramsters definitely qualify as anything else. Since we're going to be on our Abyss Lord, we'll go ahead and use our Orc Blockades as well. We're going to go with Juggernaut, Automation, and then I got Electric Fingers in there, just kind of for memes, really, to be honest. But it does give them a little bit extra damage output that is going to bounce around. We're using Accumulator, Hardened Servo, and Defense Rate. Let's go ahead and get those walls in place first. We're going to place them back a little bit further than I usually normally would. And the reason being is this map is super light on DU, and Ramsters are expensive. 50 DU for a Ramster. Just, I don't know. I'd feel better about them if they were a little cheaper. But 50 DU, so we want to be able to kind of maximize how many Ramsters we can place inside one Boost Aura and Buff Beam. Now, with that in mind, on the Ramsters, we are using Mass Destruction, Destruction, and Vampiric Empowerment. Ramsters have kind of low range. The range doesn't feel good on them. So you can go with a range shard, but I'm going to be taking advantage of the range pylon and diffusion on my buff beams, which means we're going to get almost to the range cap already without adding in any more. So I threw Vampiric Empowerment in here just as any third shard. Use literally anything you want in that third shard slot. Now, to build it out, we've got, what, 450 DU left. So this map is really all about kind of watching the amount of DU you are using to get through your runs. And let's see, let's start off with, actually, let's off-center them a little bit. Let's start off with 2 Ramsters on the center lane. We'll go with 2 Ramsters on the outer lane and 2 Ramsters on this outer lane. Now, I'm putting them all in one straight line like this, just to maximize their coverage and their reach into these outside lanes. And we're still going to be able to get everything boosted up just with one pylon. So we'll get our destructive pylon and range pylon there, and we'll throw a boost aura right about like that. After the range pylon kicks in, the boost aura will cover all of those Ramsters. And then, of course, we're going to buff beam it up. So let's go ahead and drop a buff beam there. That leaves us 50 DU left. And one thing about the Ramsters, they're not going to target the flying enemies. So with a 50 DU left, we can just throw down a Sky Guard. Let's just drop it, say, right about there. So what do we want to do? We got 100 or 200 mana left. We'll throw 1 upgrade on the Sky Guard, and then we'll upgrade 1 Ramster for each lane. Let's go ahead and check it out and see how it does. Now, the Orc Blockades don't have any range, meaning although I've got automation on them, they've got to have enemies on top of them, or they're not going to heal themselves. So Orc Blockades are not quite as durable as like the Werewolf that has that ranged attack as well that it does heal off of. But Orc Blockades are very, very usable. Of course, they're a lot cheaper and thematically cool. They definitely are able to get the job done. I see our first chieftain rolling in at a wall now. And let's see, when there's an enemy actually at the wall, the blockades are able to get it done. You see it's down just a little bit of health there, and it's because it has no ranged attack to get its healing there. So it's not really able to prepare for the next group of enemies that come in as it takes damage. And it requires the enemy being at the wall to get that healing value. Most of the lane is just getting wiped, though. Looks like Chieftain are the only thing making it down. So the Ramsters they're 50 DU, they're AoE defense, so they're going to clear everything in the lane. They are strong enough to clear lanes. Chieftains being the only thing really making it through. They're just melting everything else. Let's just go ahead and give all of Get all of the Ramsters upgraded now. Let's see, we got 6 left. Let's just go ahead and throw another upgrade on each one. Now, the amount of value you get for upgrades, of course, is dependent on how much DU it costs. A cheaper defense gets more value out of upgrades, like a 20 DU defense gets the maximum, where the more DU you have, the least amount of value you get from each individual upgrade there. They are clearing it, that is for sure. They are definitely clearing it out. The Chieftain even are, I mean, they're having to pop their immunity real early in the lane. So it's definitely getting some pain out there. Oh, we got a Plaguing Hawk rolling in now. Let's see how the Plaguing Hawk does without any sort of intervention. In fact, I should switch to another hero as I'm using that OP pet on the monk. I don't want it taking all the glory here. I'll swap that pet out after at the end of the wave here. Yeah, Frost Orcs, everything is getting melted. Everything is definitely getting melted. You see the Plaguing Hawk is no different. Not going to make it even remotely down the lane before just getting ramstered all over. So good stuff there from that Plaguing Hawk. Let's go ahead and we'll swap this pet out for... Let's bring a Itsy Betsy. We'll bring a little Betsy into the mix. And we got some mana. What do we want to do with the mana? Well, let's just dump it into the Skyguard. Get that Skyguard fully juiced, and then we definitely won't have to worry too much about any flyers. I haven't even been watching the Skyguard. It should be hitting those flyers way, way out there. I've got the all for one. Yeah, see, it's just blasting them as soon as they get even remotely into the map. We got some pretty crazy range on our Skyguards with diffusion and the range pylon and everything. So we're at the max 12.5k range. Just able to really cover the whole map. That's using that all for one shard. So we get that extra range kind of for free out of that and some power stacking. Yeah, I tell you, the Ramsters do really, really good. Now, the downside of the Ramster is its line of sight issues and its ability to hit mobs through walls, which it has none. So the Ramster is really going to shine on a lane that's long and straight. It's one of the reasons I picked this map. You got basically straight lanes just coming right on into the core, and that's where the Ramster is really going to perform its best. But let's slam a few more upgrades around and let it fly once again. I think it's just going to be an absolute steamroll through the rest of it. Of course, we have nothing in the mix to deal with Drakenlords or Siege Rollers. So if we get any of those guys, we'll have to deal with them ourselves. But yeah, they are getting it. They are definitely getting it. They're covering all the things. They're covering all the bases, and they're doing better against the Chieftain than I expected them to be honest. Ramsters are not one that you'll want to leave out of your diet completely. You just want to eat in moderation, that is for sure, as it's just not going to be the right defense for every map. And there are so many defenses out there that are 50 DU, like, say, the Dragons, that you can use on literally every map in the game. Wow, yeah, so the Chieftain even, now that we got a few upgrades in, just getting absolutely melted. See, he popped his bubble, and he's just getting slapped by all that damage here. I think that's the one area where the Werewolf shines versus the Skelly Walls, is just having that ranged attack and its ability to heal up. You know, the Skellies just don't have it unless something is slapping them. Now, it's able to sustain an awful lot of damage because of that ability to heal, but it's definitely nowhere near as effective as, you know, a training dummy with the massive healing return in kits, or those werewolf walls. Still a good one. You can get that electric fingers, so you can get yourself some electric or storm damage out there for free. So you could even throw in like a water aura and get electrocute combo, but then again it comes down to the range of the Skelly, and although we've got it on there, we're really getting no benefit out of it because it's just not able to hit anything until it's right on top of it. I mean, these are some tankier mobs. 16 million health. I mean, even the little goblins are at what? It looks like they were at like 7 mil. The chieftains are 50. And it's still just, it's just clearing them. So this chieftain will be completely healed up when he makes the wall. And then his buff is gone. So it's just chunk until he's eventually gone. The Ramsters 2 are another candidate for an elemental attunement. They're not attuned to any element, so if you want to use an element on it, it's ideal for it because it's an AoE defense. It's going to provide blanket coverage for the lane. So if you are in a situation where you need an element, the Ramster is definitely a good candidate to get an element out there onto your maps. And we are down to the last few. We do have rollers, so I'll have to get in the mix with those. I want to take a look at them. I'm pretty sure the Ramsters are just not going to be effective versus the rollers. But let's let those rollers get into range a little bit and see what's happening with them. Looks like that one in the far lane is probably coming into range. It's just not really, it's not hitting it from behind. Now, if the Ramsters were behind it, of course, they would do incredible things. But since they're not, and they're trying to face tank that roller, it's just not able to get any damage out there done. One less Ramster and a gargoyle per lane. And then maybe you got yourself some roller killers. You got the figure if we went 1 Ramster per lane instead of 2, and then threw a gargoyle mid lane. The gargoyle, of course, would get stunned up by the cyborgs. But for things like rollers or the Dragonlord when it comes, it would certainly handle business there. But there is a look from the Ramsters from the Abyss Lord in Dungeon Defenders 2. And that will do it for now. Thanks an absolute ton for watching. And I will see you next time around. Take it easy.